What's up, guys? Hanging out here on Lake Okeechobee. I'm Scott Martin. Just in case you got this video shared to you and you have no idea who I am, I'm Scott Martin, and I've lived here on the shores of Lake Okeechobee for many years. Actually been fishing this lake for 35 years. So this video is going to shed some light on some of my opinions of the lake and what we should do to fix the filter in the lake, water levels, etc. And let me say this, guys. This video is meant to bring everyone together. I believe this is a cause and this is a message and something that we can all get behind. The East Coast, the West Coast, the people around the lake, the farmers, the fishermen, the tourists, we can all get behind fixing the filter. Again, this isn't something that's going to cost billions of dollars and years of red tape, buying land. We just need to fix the grass population in Lake Okeechobee and have this lake at a good level. I enjoy spending time on the East Coast. I spend my summers over there snook fishing, tarpon fishing on the East Coast. I spend a lot of time on the West Coast as well. I want good water quality across the board for all the people involved. But bringing the lake down to a level that is below the littoral zone, down to a 10.5-foot lake, like Congressman Mass is proposing, is going to do nothing but kill our filter. I know a lot of you guys watch my videos to learn fishing tips and see the adventures that we're doing, but this is very important to me. And in this video, I'm going to discuss some of the things that are going on Lake Okeechobee, some of the proposed ideas that are happening right now that you guys can help be a part of. And so here's what I want you to do, if you don't mind. After you watch the video, I really want you to share this video out to everyone that you can think of. I want you to drop some comments down below as well. We're actually going to drop an email link in the video description so you can actually send a comment in to the people in charge of this lake that make decisions and give your opinion. Tell me what you think about the lake. Tell me what you think about some of the ideas that I'm proposing here and some of the concerns that we have. And also, we have a brand new page called AFLO, Anglers for Lake Okeechobee. AFLO is on Instagram and it's also on Facebook as well. So we encourage you guys to join that page. It's brand new. We just launched it. And it's a site that's going to be able to give us a voice. You know, Lake Okeechobee has been in the news a lot for many things. Water discharges, algae blooms on the east and west coast, just lots of different things going on here on the lake. And we all want solutions for the water that's going on here on the lake. We all want solutions on how to make water quality in Florida better, to serve the needs and all the concerns for here on the lake and the east and west coast. Right now we're in a battle about water levels. The state and the government agencies involved with the lake are all deciding on what level Lake Okeechobee should be. And Congressman Mast has proposed an idea of bringing the lake down to a 10.5-foot lake. And I'll explain why that's a bad idea and why I don't agree with that here shortly, so stick with me. You know, right now I'm sitting here in a great little area for bass fishing, and the current lake levels right now are 12.70 feet above sea level. Now, what does that mean? That means above sea level. It doesn't mean that I'm sitting in 12 foot of water right here. It means that the very center of Lake Okeechobee is 12.7 feet above sea level. And so Lake Okeechobee is a very shallow, gradual lake. It's part of the Everglades. This lake is designed to not be very deep, because it needs grass, it needs vegetation around this lake to filter the water that's in the lake. And right now we're dealing with historically low submerged vegetation here on Lake Okeechobee. I've grown up again on this lake my entire life, and literally where I'm sitting right now used to be full of submerged vegetation, pepper grass, eelgrass, even hydrilla. Some of the grass out in the lake would grow, you know, a half mile to a mile out in the lake. And what does that mean? That means that it would filter the water. That means Lake Okeechobee was filtering its own water. And right now on Lake Okeechobee, we do not have any submerged vegetation. I mean, zero. Right here behind me we have Kissimmee grass, which is a hard stalk grass, and it basically around the entire perimeter of the lake. This grass is great for habitat, but it's not great for filtering. So this isn't the grass that I'm talking about. This grass you see here behind me is grass that adds habitat, but does not really add any major function for filtering the water. Submerged vegetation, again, hydrilla, peppergrass, and cattails and different things around this area, this littoral zone, which we'll talk about here in a minute, is what filters the water in Lake Okeechobee. So guys, what I'm proposing right now is that we fix the filter. We fix the filter. And what do I mean by that? I mean that we start paying attention to making sure that Lake Okeechobee is full of thousands of acres of submerged vegetation. That is going to do great things, not only for the water quality, but for the fishing, and it's going to solve a lot of problems that we're all dealing with right now in the state of Florida. And the people that are concerned about water quality going east and west, when we have a filter in Lake Okeechobee that filters the water that's in the lake, that is, I mean, that's common sense, guys. That is a very smart idea. And it's something that I go to these meetings and I talk to people, and I go to the big meetings on the coast, and we go to meetings here and talk about solutions for the water. And I don't ever hear anybody talking about how much submerged vegetation is in Lake Okeechobee, how much water is being filtered by the grass in the lake. Guys, let me just break it down real simple for you. We don't have a filter in Lake Okeechobee. There's no submerged grass in the lake. You know, take a fish tank, for example. A fish tank has a filter. It has a little cotton filter, and it takes the water and it filters it through the cotton, and it purifies the water and keeps your fish in your aquarium very clean and very healthy. And we're lacking that here. So this is like a big fish tank, right? We don't have a filter in Lake Okeechobee. So you ask yourself, why don't we have submerged vegetation in Lake Okeechobee? Why is the filter in Lake Okeechobee basically non-existent at this point? There's several reasons why. Number one, hurricanes that we've been inundated with over the last 10 years, which has done tremendous damage to a lot of the vegetation around the lake. Number two, a lot of the extra rainfall that we've had here in the state of Florida that has run off into the lake. And let me say this. The water that's in Lake Okeechobee isn't necessarily water that just fell on Lake Okeechobee. The majority of the water that needs to be released out of the lake to keep the levels at a safe level is water that is coming down the Kissimmee River, Indian Prairie Canal, all the different inflows into Lake Okeechobee at a high rate, an unfiltered rate, to be honest with you, because the Kissimmee River is basically nothing but a big giant canal. There's no filter for the most part in the Kissimmee River or most of the other inflows that come into the lake. But in the past, when we had grass, hydrilla, peppergrass, eelgrass, that water would be filtered as it came in through Fish Eating Bay. It would filter the water in those areas because that grass would be right there. We don't have it anymore. That's not good. So getting back to why Congressman Mast's proposal of a 10.5-foot lake won't work, here's why. A 10.5-foot lake would basically eliminate the littoral zone on Lake Okeechobee. What is the littoral zone? I'm sitting in one right now. I'm sitting on the west wall. This is a big giant filter marsh right here that, again, usually has a lot of submerged vegetation throughout. And as the wind blows from the lake, it pushes billions of gallons of water back into this marsh. The wind subsides and it comes back out, constantly filtering the water. So why is a 10.5-foot lake a bad idea, in my opinion? Well, number one, we're sitting in this area and we're about 2.5 foot of water. That means that at 10.5 foot, right here where I'm sitting, would literally be dry land. You know what doesn't grow on dry land? Submerged vegetation. Submerged vegetation needs water to grow. And if we have low water where this is dry land, all of these filter marshes around the lake, thousands of acres of filter marshes, would grow up with bushes and pepper trees and willow trees, things that are not going to filter the water. And we would lose these filter marshes permanently due to bushes and everything else. Thus, the submerged vegetation won't grow, and the filter marshes around Lake Okeechobee will not filter the water in Lake Okeechobee. You know, the littoral zone is also important for several other reasons. It's a spawning area for all of the fish on this lake. It's also a place for the birds and the ducks to come as they migrate down from the north. If this is dry land, basically all you're left with is the center basin part of Lake Okeechobee, which is a sand bottom with no seed base out there. Thus, every single day that the lake is at 10.5 foot, the lake is not filtering the water. And so that's not good. We're going to lose our filter marshes. You know, I talk about how it's not a good level, 10.5. I spent some time out on Lake Okeechobee the other day doing some fishing, and matter of fact, I'm going to show you some video clips here. And those video clips that you're about to watch of us fishing and actually talking to a few random people that I ran into on the lake and asked them what they thought of a 10.5-foot lake. And these are people that are from all over the world. I talked to people that day from New York, Canada. They're out enjoying this lake. These are people that come down to Lake Okeechobee and the center part of the state to enjoy this beautiful resource, and they also spend time on the coast. Again, guys, what I'm proposing is that we pay attention to the water levels to promote the grass to grow, okay? And this video that you're watching is a video that hopefully that we can all get behind. The entire people on the East Coast and the West Coast can all come together with a solution to fix the filter on Lake Okeechobee and promote the grass to grow. So guys, check out this video. Let's see what they have to say. So guys, we're sitting here fishing. We got a little zone. Caught a 6-pounder right back there, literally like 50 yards. Rob just caught another big one right here. And again, this is a nice spawning area right here. This is a beautiful, beautiful little estuary. It's been here for years. Fish come in here every year to spawn. And you know, they're talking about this 10-foot, taking the lake to 10 foot, dude. That right there, this would be dry land. Dry land. Nothing, no place for the fish to go. And these guys over here fishing. Where are you guys from?
Okeechobee.
Yeah, but where's your clients from?
Canada.
Canada.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Came all the way down here to catch some largemouth bass.
That's great, man. You enjoying the lake?
Great morning so far. We already got an 8-pounder too.
Nice. They got an 8-pounder too. So what would you say to the state if they decided to make Lake Okeechobee a 10-foot lake?
10 foot deep?
Yeah, 10-foot lake level. We're at 12.7 right now. It'd be a 10-foot lake, meaning this would be all dry land. Everything would be dry.
That'd be pretty hard to catch some 8-pounders then, wouldn't it?
It'd be awful, wouldn't it?
It would destroy it, man.
It would destroy it.
I don't think that's the way to go.
No. Look, they're from Canada. They know the right answer. They wouldn't come to Florida and fish Lake Okeechobee and spend dollars in our communities here if we had a 10-foot lake, right?
Nope.
No.
I mean, all this is a spawning flat back in here.
Yeah.
These big fish come in to spawn every year.
Yeah. They'd have nowhere to spawn. There'd be no spawn. It'd be a mud puddle. Yeah, you wouldn't call it a fish. Look at those people over there. Look, they're doubled up. They're doubled up right there. That's one of the guides on the lake. Got clients out. They're probably from out of state. We have 2 fish on right now. Having a ball, spending money around the lake in the state of Florida. Look at that. Doubles. And guess what? 10-foot lake, those people aren't here because that's dry ground. Unfishable.
So you won't be a fish here at all?
Nope. Nope. Yeah, this whole spawning area that these fish have used for years, all these people are in here fishing, spending dollars in our communities,
yep,
enjoying the state of Florida, would not be here.
That's true. I know they'll be in the water, but it won't be, the vegetation won't be here.
That's right. See, the difference is out there in the lake where there would be a little water left,
yep,
there's no seed out there for grass. So there's no grass would ever grow out there. It's all sand bottom.
Yep. Without this, your fishing will die.
That's right. So again, all those places that you saw in that video would literally be dry land. There'd be no fishing going on, there'd be no filtering going on, and it would basically eliminate any possibility of submerged vegetation growing because it would be dry land. And here's why else it's bad. Because whenever we have a drought, which we do, we have natural droughts in the state of Florida every so often. And if we're managing the lake at a 10.5-foot lake in the dry season, okay, that means that when we have a drought, which is hard to predict, the lake is going to go well below 10.5. It's going to go down 6 or 7 foot, which makes the lake completely unusable by everyone. Completely unusable for water to be sent to Palm Beach or any of the city municipalities that need water from Lake Okeechobee. Completely unusable for any farmers around the lake to use for their crops. Completely unusable for any fishermen or any tourism to come to the state of Florida to enjoy this natural resource. And at the same time, all we're doing is eliminating our filter marshes. What is the best level for Lake Okeechobee? Right now, the lake is scheduled at 12.5 foot to 15.5 foot above sea level. And that's a pretty good level. We just have to manage it properly. I think our management practices could be better. The people that are in charge of managing the lake and discharging and making sure the levels are at a certain level, that's all important stuff, and I'm all for that. But a 10.5-foot lake is a dangerous level. It's completely unusable at even 10.5 foot. Nothing, you can't get around on Lake Okeechobee. Fish can't spawn, birds can't use it, and again, I keep talking about it, the grass can't grow back in the filter marshes. Even Paul Gray from the Audubon Society even publicly said that a 10.5-foot lake would not be good for Lake Okeechobee or even any of the long-term projections that we have for this lake. That he even recommended that maybe we just bring it down a half a foot, maybe down to 12 foot, and I would agree with that. A 12-foot lake throughout the year, time to time, is a good level because it really gets the grass growing. We need light penetration down through the water to get that grass to grow. When it's dry land, we can't filter the water. And guys, that's something that no one is talking about. Again, you know, the state, South Florida Water Management, and a lot of the people around the state has bought property south of the lake, east of the lake, north of the lake, and they're building what they call STAs. And STAs is a storm treatment area, storm treatment water area. And what they do with that water is they pump the water into these giant acreages of land that are full of grass, submerged vegetation, and cattails. These marshes that are large, 15, 20,000 acre marshes that are full of grass, they pump the water through them, it filters the water, the grass does its job, and it comes out the other side in good shape. And, you know, again, what are those full of? Grass. We have a giant lake right here, guys, that is public. We don't have to buy it for billions of dollars. We don't have to go through years and years of red tape and arguments of what should we do with the land. We've got Lake Okeechobee right here that we could basically turn into an STA by managing the water levels at the right level that are gonna appease all of its uses: tourism, birds, the fishery, the water quality. 10.5 foot's not gonna get it done. That's a dangerous, dangerous level. You know, another thing that I propose, they spent a lot of money spraying water hyacinths on this lake. I think the budget is somewhere close to $2 million. I'm not exact to the exact amount, but it's a lot of money each year that they budget on Lake Okeechobee to spray the water hyacinths, which is an invasive plant species, okay? There's some other ways that we could possibly get rid of water hyacinths, which would be great. Overall, stop the spraying. I'm all for that. But at the end of the day, they're spending $2 million a year, roughly, on spraying the water hyacinths, which when you do that, you have collateral damage on the native grasses around the area, cattails and submerged vegetation. Why don't we start putting some money back towards reclamation of this land and this water and the grass? Why don't we start spending some money and budgeting some money to plant grass on Lake Okeechobee? I don't see them out here ever focusing on trying to get the grass to grow. And if they could put some money towards getting the filter back in this lake, it's going to help the water quality in the lake. Thus, as water gets discharged east and west, it's going to be a better water. Look, there's a lot of projects right now going on in the state of Florida in different ways to help alleviate some of these issues. Those are going to take many, many years and millions of dollars. What I'm proposing is real simple. Let's fix the filter, guys. This is something, grass grows fast in the state of Florida, especially here on Lake Okeechobee. Let's manage the water levels that are going to best promote the submerged vegetation to grow, and thus we're going to get immediate results here with the water quality. So I just encourage you guys, I ask you to share this video to everyone you know. If you've ever spent time on Lake Okeechobee, you know what I'm talking about. Drop some comments down below. And you know, if you have a love for South Florida, let's come up with a solution. Again, I'm all for a lot of these projects that are going on. You know, the deep water well injections that we can kind of divert some of that water, the extra water that gets discharged out to the east and west. We can put it underground. There's some other projects where they're going to buy some property and build some other retaining lakes. But guys, we got to fix the filter. That's going to solve a lot of the problems instantly. Because as I've grown up here over the years, when we had submerged, thousands of acres of submerged vegetation, we didn't have these problems. Right now we have none. Zero submerged vegetation, very little filter in Lake Okeechobee. So guys, thank you for watching. Again, I'm all for us coming together. All the different organizations around the lake that are have interest in this, I'm all for trying to get everybody together and come up with a real solution that will fix the problem quickly and help. You know, I spend a lot of time on the east and west coast. I spend my summers over there fishing, and catching snook and tarpon, and I love that water over there, and I want your water on the East Coast and the West Coast to be good water, but we have to take care of where the water is, and it's right here on Lake Okeechobee. And we need to fix the flow coming into Lake Okeechobee. We need to slow the flow. We need to slow it down. We need to filter what's coming in, and we need to filter what's going out. So guys, thank you again for watching. Please share the video, and again, check out AFLO. It's an Instagram page, Anglers for Lake Okeechobee. Love to see you there. And drop some comments below. Let me know what you think. And thank you for watching. Thank you for your time.